When I asked him, the gentleman then stretched his hand, shaking me and trying to whisper something into my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, should I push the guy that don't whisper anything into my ears? Should I snub him? Should I shout at him?
So after say Ralph and a Ridge Hospital for inside some course no, and health workers ni can say, especially General Secretary of the Registered Nurses and Midwives, your friend Dr. Tenkorang interview bi na ochire mu a asemasi and nema I see health minister, the people working under you no, you couldn't even go to them, but rather no wakwakwachia Ralph ahage no ene ade ema ne obebo na adwene ade na no na health minister ede ho response ede aba na mesro answer na yebehye enkomo na se no ene die mu abomodin subscribe channel lima na fi follow your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram and X edina your fresh studios ebusia o say ade ache yankopon waboy ho bai ma ade ache ayeyi ne na asem kwan ne de be ma no ye hye enkomo na se abusia mo be kai a few days ago and a Rich Hospital Ralph, the activist, fellow Ghanaians, ene ne dombi eko hono ma se omo kwa kwaje ayarehwe emene ekoye bibi fufuro hono Ralph no stream akodu wono obi kura eda empanso ma owu ema ono live video a na o chirem say it looks like the people over there or the health workers, the nurses and the doctors, they don't care about the human lives. Ema ekoye ensem bebre eno achi na ye hu say ababa wa be a friend Rejoice I say rotational nurse ya bandage no ama ochima Ralph ene dom no assorte no na eno echi na General Secretary of the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association your friend Dr. Tenkorang Chum the be earlier video aye no kra no motisa interview no ye oni obi of Asempa ano ochim say health minister no akwa say oni obu bia ema because asemasi na nkrofo a omo ne wo ye adwuma you couldn't even approach them first but rather no when Ralph akogina akochia akoto nsa achia asan so aha agene mo aka nsem agu na sum dia it looks like say papa no on form ho enti sansem we Dr. Tenkorang General Secretary for the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association no edbetu dwa no eno na head of communications of the health ministry a friend Tony Goodman eba be chim say Ralph pie na or to nsa say or chair minister na chair no after the minister and chair no more prompting and say this is the Ralph guy on a Rich Hospital for any issue no so it means say minister no nim say Ralph and or chair no.
So for somebody to think that the handshake came after the action, it's wrong. The handshake happened, but the minister took all these actions and set up
the action as in the minister's actions in terms of issuing a statement and all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Getting the police, getting the people to go to the police station, involving the IGP, involving the regional command, were done just after the handshake. He didn't even know this guy. I prompted him that this Ralph.
I see.
After that, this minister set up a committee. On the same day. They did all of these things the same day. Set up this committee and said, I want the report. By yesterday, we're ready with the report. By Monday, the team will submit the report to the minister, looking at the system issues and then what actually happened, what caused that delay, the delay being alleged in the video, what actually caused the delay. So all of this were done. Let me say on record that I mentioned on your radio station that the minister needs commendation, not condemnation, and people didn't understand. I said that because what happened, we expected maybe Ghana Health Service, the minister could have said, oh, Ghana Health Service, go and deal with that issue. But because of his recent visit to the hospitals, trying to strengthen the systems we have, providing additional logistic support, he feels that let me go there and see for myself, and then that will inform system strengthening. That is why he has done it.
And to Ralph in chair or co-chair minister, Tony Goodman or head of communications or ministry honor Edbertu Jano. And a minister Nakasa ebe train some say.
Now when I pulled out, my attention was drawn to a gentleman called Ralph, who was at the center of the controversy. And so he was walking towards us as a group. The medical director was with me. The deputy director general was also with me. Then I asked, why did you do this, gentleman? When I asked, most of you were there. I mean, the press, you were there. So you can attest to what I'm saying. You were there with me. When I asked him, the gentleman then stretched his hand, shaking me and trying to whisper something into my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, should I push the guy that don't whisper anything into my ears? Should I snub him? Should I shout at him? Even if that guy has been prosecuted and sentenced to life imprisonment, and he stretches his hand to shake me, as a minister, as a public officer, I have the duty to stretch and greet him. So let us not reduce the fact that I shook hands with him does not mean that I should stop any measure or any steps that the ministry or government will take to unravel the situation.
Raf no Obisan say a ban saying after the call for a chain say this is the rough guy. No, or business a ban saying or Kokoye Sade no Elho. And no, or Raf Eternesa, Echiana, or can some good assume.
What the gentleman said into my ears, I said it in Tree, but I think I'll repeat it in English. What he told me was that, Mr. Minister, I'll come to the office and tell you my side of the story. And indeed, he came to the office. Those who were here will maybe. And in fact, let me tell you the coincidence. The reason why people think, and I have heard this one too, that it was managed, it was staged. How did the guy meet the minister at the same time at the place? What really happened, I didn't know. It was after the incident that I heard that the gentleman came to the ministry looking for me at that time. And they told him I had gone to the hospital. And so he followed up to the hospital. So that's the coincidence, that's what really happened. The various health facilities, the security measures we are putting in place. You see, when issues of this nature come, it defines policy directions. And so we already, at every health facility, we have some sort of security arrangement everywhere, the district hospitals, the regional hospitals. But this has given a cause for reviewing the various securities at the various health facilities. And so the Director General with my able CEOs will look at reviewing and then establish that connection between our health facilities and the police in the various districts or at the various destinations in the country, so that at any given point in time.
And the interviews now, a year Dr. Tenkorang Eguso Kasaya no, and I know what you say, at that moment, Minister Neba Hospital hono. That was when Raf and baby P ho. So it means the whole thing was staged or planned. And also Minister no Eddie anu ye by I know what you say. Or Babetrim and some Raf Ekaguna sum no. Na and some all kind and say. Obeba ministry ho. The office no ababeka on also the side of the story. Ashreno. And to way and some Raf Edena son echo minister no asonwa na no echo minister na so ho a oka hye no eno na ama minister no aba abechim a wo chim say wasan so ate the unfortunate thing na man for can say ena almost stage ni ade no oka actually he doesn't know anything about it. Emra Raf ye chim a oba ministry wo kra ohwehwe no ni ho nti omo che ne say okọ hospital ho. That was when Raf so di akire ekọ hospital ho no. Nti so omo hu bibi sa is not something like enya ade bi ebe say bi omo planning and answer omo stage na eye.
The reason why people think, and I have heard this one too, that it was managed, it was staged. How did the guy meet the minister at the same time at the place? What really happened, I didn't know. It was after the incident that I heard that the gentleman came to the ministry looking for me at that time. And they told him I had gone to the hospital. And so he followed up to the hospital. So that's the coincidence, that's what really happened. The various
to the minister no now or sound so so can say yes what say yes or a farmer.
They will give you first aid or whatever, but they will attend to other people who need more a year. It doesn't mean that they are delaying whatever. So that statement doesn't make sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense. Whoever wrote that statement doesn't even understand the hospital system. Or a farmer has it. What kind of life is that?
And he doesn't need anyone to remind him of that. In fact, he is a proud farmer. Before his appointment, one of the biggest rice farmers in this country. Honorable Minta Akandoh response on also Ediama Dr. Tenkorang Chum.
And so I understand on a more lighter note, I have been reminded of the fact that I'm a farmer. Yes, nobody needs to remind me. I'm a proud farmer, and everybody knows it. Not until my appointment, I was one of the largest rice farmers in this country, and I'm proud of that. Please, we have a lot to deliver, and some of these things will not divert our attention. We will continue to do our best for Mother Ghana. I thank you for the opportunity.
Say in semina, air course na air yakoye say ono echrima. Minister no any obubia de ma those working under him, and I said the nurses and the midwives no oni ebu de ma. But ochrimwa, that is not how the whole thing is. Now, and ma obia fan kwese say bia oni Ralph no a plan. He doesn't even know Ralph until say almost and say this is the Ralph guy. Obisa no e ban say eno kokoye sade no e wo honum. A Ralph e ka kire say Obeba office and a ministry or no so abeka the side of the story at the achana. Indeed, okoya one cotton no chance or hospital. Ralph is now follow up echo hospital one. That was how the whole thing happened. That was how the whole thing happened. Until some more Babe reminding and I'm be say or a farmer. He doesn't need anyone. When he will be as obekaino, so a farmer. No one kasa nenije say or a farmer or you and he's proud. He's proud to say that indeed before his appointment, he was one, and I say he's one of the biggest rice farmers ever mine. I was saying for any response Dr. Minta and Honorable Minta Akandoh, Ediama Dr. Tenkorang Chum, our General Secretary of the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Mami who I didn't share our comment section ho na fee bomodia still be subscribe channel. Now follow your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X.